Hey everyone, Gary here with Prairie Growth Solutions. I have with me today a colleague of mine. Her name is Jane Lee, and Jane is with BDM Solutions out of Michigan. Jane, you want to say hi real quick?
Hey Gary, thanks for having me. Good morning, good
Absolutely.
afternoon to everybody.
So, Jane is also a business strategist and profit acceleration specialist. So, we work closely together on, strategy and things of that nature. And I just appreciate Jane's insights on things. So, I thought I would invite her on here to have a quick discussion. So, Jane, thanks so much for being here.
Well, thank you for the introductions.
Let's start, Jane. Let's talk maybe a little bit about profit acceleration. So, profit acceleration is one of the key I guess business motions that we go through with customers. And I say customers, clients, I refer to it as just helping business people, business people helping business people. But can you explain in simple terms what is profit acceleration?
So, if you take those two words about apart, it's profit and making it get getting more profit faster. I guess that's the simplest terms to um, defining that. So, profit acceleration as business owners, small business owners, we're all about making money. And what do we do to make money? I mean, there's so many things that we can do, but profit acceleration and the tools that we have, that really helps us be focused. And we don't have to, we're not searching for information because we have all of that information right at our fingertips.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. And when I think about profit acceleration, I think you're absolutely spot on, profit and acceleration. So it's really all about helping businesses improve their profit very rapidly. And that's really the goal, I think, of what we do. In your terms, Jane, why is profit acceleration crucial today for business?
Oh, profit acceleration for crucial. That's a very good question. We all want to make money. And because the businesses nowadays, it's a little different, right? Because it's so rapid. Everything is quick turn. Things are changing quickly back, even from 10, 15 years ago, everything is ready at the fingertips. So accelerating that profit and getting that immediately is very important because if you lose today, it's compounded and you're going to lose more tomorrow. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that we get taught, or we may not know about, is the compounding part of the profit. So if you invest today, you get more, the next day or the year after. That's why everybody talks about making investments. It's not so much what you do today with it, but if you make that investment over time, you're going to get more and more, and it's going to add to it. Penny today, you know, double it tomorrow, it's going to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah. The other day I talked about comparing compound interest and profit acceleration.
Hmm.
And compound interest is kind of a passive way of improving, your money. Profit acceleration is an active way where you're really driving those changes through strategies. And the interesting thing, Jane, I think that a lot of people need to understand is um, it's not about massive business change.
Hmm.
It's about small changes that build on one another to really bring significant profit to a business.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, I was thinking, the incremental gains that you get, right? You make one, because if you do a huge overhaul on one thing, it's kind of just saying you're changing your entire business structure. But what we want to do is make those small incremental changes. And I say incremental and the small because making those small changes is going to continue and it's going to add to it. And making small changes is going to become a habit,
Yeah.
right? So it's not like a huge undertaking. It's things that we can do quickly and implement it easily so that we're able to see the profit and see that growth and see the changes that we're going to be helping business owners make.
Yeah, yeah. And so when we think about, profit acceleration and these strategies, and there's several of them, the basic that we talk about is a dozen, but there's 40 and there's even more than that. But,
Right.
you know, what are the top two or three strategies that a business should think about in terms of profit acceleration, Jane?
So Gary, yeah, the two that I always kind of go to is, the market dominating position statement. I know we call that MDP, and I know that, with the acronym alphabet, but the market dominating position statement is truly different from your unique value proposition. And everybody talks about the UVP, unique value proposition, or the USP, the unique selling proposition. But when you kind of peel it back and go for the understand the MDP, it gives you a different perspective, and I always write it down and I kind of always have to go refer back to it. But, it's identifying the problem in the ideal client's mind and then solving it. Right. So now we have to look at it from the client's perspective, not just what I can do for you, but if the client doesn't need what I can provide, then it's not a value to them.
Yeah.
So the MDP is definitely one of them. And then it's also this strategy, is this what they're saying and what they're doing, is that resonating within the entire organization? Maybe as a solopreneur, it may not really resonate, but if you have employees, does the employees understand, and do they understand the strategy and the value that the business brings to the customers?
Yeah. So it's really understanding your market, your position in the market, and setting yourself up to be different than everyone else in the market and making sure that all your employees and other folks around you understand that. And I love the analogy of the red ocean, blue ocean. I
Hmm.
haven't read the book. I've read a number of summaries about it and it's on my reading list. But for those that aren't aware, red ocean and blue ocean, if you um, think about a blue ocean being someone or a business that doesn't have any competition around them. They're so unique and compelling in what they do that really they don't compare to somebody else. And the
Hmm.
red ocean is, where everybody else is playing, right? And it's
Hmm.
it's all about, hey, my price is better than your price, or those kinds of things. And that's not really a winning strategy. That's a commodity play.
Right.
And so, what I like to talk about with market dominating position is you need to set yourself up in such a unique way that when someone looks at you as potential to do business with, that that your business stands head and shoulders above the rest. It's all about value, and it's all about your culture and what you do. Now, again, back to your point, it's critically important that everybody in the organization understand that.
Mhm. Right.
So that's one strategy, right, that we like to look at.
Yeah.
Another one that I like is I'm kind of creative, or I think I'm creative. Um, but the other one is determining some compelling offers.
Hmm.
So, if you're offering, um, some kind of a solution in the market, and it's a lot of me too, that's kind of in air quotes. I use the term me too kind of stuff. But how do you create an offer that is so compelling that people wouldn't look at the other offers because they say, well, why wouldn't I go with offer A? Because I mean, that's clearly the most compelling offer and the best value, for me. So, that's kind of the second one that I go to, and I'd love to hear some of your feedback on compelling offers as well.
No, that I mean, absolutely compelling offer that goes ties in with the MDP and the strategy. Right? Because you want to create that market dominating position statement, and then you want to create a strategy that embraces what the value that you bring, as well as understanding the customer's profile that you want to work with, and that they're going to see the value that you bring to the table. And
Yeah.
then with all of that, when you know, have the compelling offer, tying that back into the blue ocean strategies, what we're saying is work with me because I know how to address your pain. And I think one of the uniqueness that we have to think about as business owners is what are the issues? What are the three biggest problems that we're trying to solve for our clients, right? For us as business strategists, it's always what are the businesses struggling with, business owners? And it's always time, right? But it could be it's pricing or whatever it is, but it's being able to hear and understand and really listening to their problems. And, we could all just revert back to the standards of MDP and strategy, but that's not always that. So it's being able to really listen. And I think that is a key factor um, with what we do and with compelling offer is not just saying, I have this thing to sell you, but I hear you and I'm going to help you because by doing X, Y, Z.
Yeah. And you're going to help them solve an issue so that they can put that issue away and move on to the next thing, right?
Right,
So
right.
you're not just, repeating the
Really,
same things over and over again, right? It needs to be moving forward. And I think that's what I really enjoy as well. Uh,
yeah. So I think as business owners, even not just us as a business strategist, but any business owner, what we're trying to do is solve, addressing the client's problem that they don't want to have and giving them the solution, right? The answer that they don't have. So it's like, when you go shopping, I go to the grocery store because I run out of milk or because I run out of eggs. And, I looked in the fridge today and I was like, I thought I just made a bunch of food. Now it's all gone again. Yeah, right? So it's that part of it is the compelling offer is what solution are we able to provide the customer
yeah.
or the
Yeah.
clients?
And I think a key point here too is, and a lot of these strategies all intertwined, right? They all play off of each other. And and it's not just about a compelling offer being a discount.
No.
Because a discount, that's going to come right off the bottom line. So, why would you give away profit when you can do it differently? And you can do it differently by providing more value and getting a little bit more creative.
Mhm.
So I'm going to leave that one there.
Okay.
Love to talk about that one some more at some point. But let's talk for a minute about, time. A lot of business owners, they don't have time, or they say they don't have time because they're busy working in their business and not on their business.
Mhm.
And that really needs to be both a physical shift and a mind shift. So can you talk a little bit about that, Jane, from your perspective? I know this is kind of a hard one to pinpoint, but
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we were talking about today, time, right? I want to have more time. And I think a lot of us, everybody, I think, we waste a lot of time. We do. And we think it's justified because, we're working. But when you look at a lot of emails and you look at emails throughout the day, you are essentially wasting time or you're not having time because I'm going to probably guess, I'm going to say like 50% of the emails that you look at it's probably spam or something that doesn't really need to be looked at. So it's how do we create time so that we're doing the value add work in our given time space, right? Let's take an 8-hour workday. How is your 8 hours? Is it 8 to 5? Is it 9 to 6 or whatever time frame that you look at? And utilizing our time most effectively. How much value are we putting in that hour of whatever it is that we're doing?
yeah.
Instead of looking at your email or your social media or whatever it is, because let me tell you, going on that social media, it spirals and you can be down that rabbit hole quick. And next thing you know, it's an hour's gone by and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, and I think that's why, a lot of people talk about time management, and it's kind of, become one of those things that nobody really thinks about, but it's truly important. I mean, you got to
Hmm.
plan what you're going to do when. So, for example, if you find yourself going down that social media rabbit hole as you're, updating some of your, profiles or business information, set a time limit for yourself.
Right.
Same with email. If you find yourself constantly looking at every email that comes in and then getting stuck with that, schedule time
Hmm.
to do your email throughout the day.
Hmm.
Those kinds of things I think are everybody's heard them, but you really have to take those to heart. You really have to plan your week, plan your day, and make sure that what you are doing is is something that is providing value towards your goals, right?
Your
Whether that's
business.
your weekly goal, whether
Hmm.
that's your monthly goal, whether that's your annual goal, or, even your 5 or 10 year goal. If you're doing something that's not focusing you on one of those things,
Hmm.
why are you doing it?
Right. I mean, just adding to that, it's um, how is that adding value to your business? Because time is money. I mean, we've heard that since we were kids. Time is money, and you don't really understand it until you get into the workforce. And then as business owners, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, time really is money. And I used to say I don't do anything unless it's on my calendar. Um, but you do kind of need refreshers, and I think that's why a lot of us maybe need business coaches, strategists to make us accountable and make sure that we're not doing non-value added work within our work time so that we are making that investment into our business
Yeah.
and making sure that the work that we do and the time we're spending on, is value and we are adding to our bottom line and our top line.
Yeah. And I want to touch on one other thing that we said a little bit earlier. You mentioned it that what we do as business strategists, it's an investment, right? And we know that that's an investment. It costs something. But I think the other side of that is that the if you're working with someone like us, right? Um, you need a return on your investment. And if
Hmm.
if they can't provide that to you and they can't provide a roadmap and a plan to get there, um, don't invest in it. But but if you or don't spend your money on it, I'll say. But if you are working with someone that understands your business, understands your priorities in your business, provides value in terms of what specific strategies they can help you work on and what impact those strategies are going to have on your bottom line. And in fact, if they um, if they're able to show you that return on investment and they're willing to put skin in the game as well,
Hmm.
I think those are important factors when you're talking about working with someone like us, Jane. Do you have any
Absolutely.
comments on that at all, or?
Yeah, yes, no, I would love to add to that, Gary, because it's their business, right? And we're here to help them and coach them and guide them because they know their business best. But we as strategists understand the entire scheme. We can have the 10,000-foot view. So we're not in it and we can oversee it and say, okay, I know that X part is easy for you. So that's all you do. But we have to look at all the other factors of your business. And I think that's important for that people to understand that that's the guidance that we provide, the accountability, which is so key. And, I always like to make this comparison of going to a gym. It's you join a gym and you say, okay, I want a personal trainer because I want to run a half marathon. And then you go, and then they're like, okay, well, have you ever run before? Well, no, and then so you go through all of that, and then they give you a plan, and you can't run a half marathon tomorrow. So it's like, okay, what's the timing? And you go through all of that, and they give you the plan, what to eat, how much rest that you should get, a type of food that you should eat, and what kind of exercises to do. And this is all because I went to the personal trainer and said, I want to run a half marathon. Now, if I don't do any of those things, I won't be able to run the half marathon in a year, right? And then the trainer's going to go, well, okay, you actually have to take ownership. And as the trainer, they're making me accountable, and to meet with them every week, and I tell them exactly what I did, right? And then you tweak it as you go. So, I see kind of us as the business strategist, as those personal trainers.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you, but you actually have to do the work. I
Yeah.
can tell you and how to do things,
Yeah.
but if you don't do it, it's not happening.
Something else comes to mind as we're talking about this and kind of hearkening back to the, oh, I'm too busy. I don't have enough time to work on my business. I'm working in my business. One of the beauties of, working with a business strategist like us is um, you don't have to think about it until it's scheduled. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Business owners are making decisions constantly every day. And one of the stories that you will read about, if you haven't already, is somebody like Steve Jobs. He founded Apple, and he was a pretty busy guy. So one of the things that he did is he said, I don't want to make a decision about what I'm going to wear on a daily basis. So he had one look. He had a black turtleneck, and that's what he wore every day. So he didn't have to get up in the morning and wonder what I'm going to wear. That helped him sleep better at night, right? It helped him not have to worry about what am I going to buy when I, go to the store or whatever it might be, from a fashion perspective.
Mhm.
Um, I think similarly with a business strategist, you don't have to think about that because that business strategist is going to provide you with that that roadmap, if you will,
Mhm.
those chunks of what you're going to be working on next. So you don't have to sit there and think about all these decisions every day. Let's just focus on one. Let's get
Right.
one done, move on to the next one. And I think that accountability and that process is something that business owners will appreciate unless they've thought about it. They don't really think about it in those terms.
No, and Gary, that's a great thing. And not only do they have the strategies, but we can prioritize it for them, right? So we can talk about 40 different things that they can do, but we can tell them in what order
Yep.
and how long we can expect them it to take to complete it. So really, there is no guessing game because it's all outlined and it's there. So, it's kind of like it's a plug and play, really, and this is what you don't have to really think. You just have to execute.
Yep.
Here's a
Yep.
checklist and just do it.
Well, and it's kind of like, I use the analogy that I love business because it's like a game of chess, right? All of the pieces move maybe a little bit differently, and it's you against, not really against, but trying to figure out the moves that will move you forward, to a better position. And if you make a move, that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that you can't, come up with something different and course correct later on. And
Right.
I think a lot of people get stuck thinking, well, if I start this and I'm investing in this, I have to do it perfectly because, that's the outcome that they're expecting. And it's like, no, no, no. You have to do something. If you don't do something, you're not doing anything and you're
Right.
not improving your position. So that's what I really like is to be able to help people move forward.
No, agree. And that's what I love to see too, is the little progress, or their eyes light up like, oh yeah, okay, I can do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jane, I appreciate your time. I'm going to wrap things up here. And just, a couple of quick messages. Jane is a business strategist, profit acceleration specialist, and she lives in Michigan. Jane's website is bdm-solutionsllc.com. So visit her there. And of course, I would love to help you as well. And this is Gary in Fargo, North Dakota. And my website is prairiegrowthsolutions.com. And Jane and I would love to chat with you a little bit more about Profit Acceleration. If you have any questions, reach us on our website, schedule 15 minutes. We'd be happy to share some of that with you and provide you some tips. That's what we're here for. We're here to help businesses, and we appreciate that. Jane, any last words from you?
No, I appreciate the time. Thanks for having me on, Gary. I look forward to working with you as always. North Dakota, Michigan, how did we connect? This is just the world we live in and all the great advisors out there.
Yeah,
Thanks, Gary.
sounds great. Thank you so much, Jane. I hope you have a wonderful week.
You as well.
Okay, bye-bye.